and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all very well on this Friday. Bank holiday Friday, isn't it? It's going to be bank holiday this weekend for me in England. Lovely stuff. Today is a book haul. I've got 8 books here to show you. Next month, September, I'm planning on doing a reading, reading vlogs and including my books in my hauls there, as I did in July, which I very much enjoyed doing. So I wanted to haul everything that I'd got this month so far and show you. And then I really feel like I want to put a few of these on my TBR for next month as well, because they're just exciting. Some of these I got from the publisher, some of these I bought myself, and as always I will list all the books down below, and if they've been sent to me by the publisher or gifted to me, I'll put a little asterisk by them for transparency. First one, I bought it myself. This is Crimson by Hmac Cornelissen. I heard about this book on the podcast by Alice Slater and Bethany Rutter, What Page Are You On, which is a fantastic bookish podcast that I love listening to every week. I get so excited. And this week they've been talking about women in translation, and this is a book by a woman in translation. So Hmac Cornelissen is from Greenland, and this book, Crimson, was originally written in Greenlandic, which she has then translated herself into Danish, and then it has been translated from the Danish to English by Anna Hallager. Which I do quite like when they put it on the front cover, but they haven't done it here. But however, they have done it on the title page. So Anna Hallager has translated this from Danish to English, even though it was originally written in Greenlandic, which is a language I had no idea existed. So that's exciting that I'm going to be reading a book which was originally written in a language I had no idea existed. This is set in Greenland, and it follows 5 friends, Fia, Sarah, Ivok, Inuk and Hmac, and I believe there's queer love stories in there. There's sort of like just growing up, what it's like to grow up in Greenland. Here we go. It says, Nuuk, Greenland, 5 friends. Fia breaks up with her long-term boyfriend for Sarah, but Sarah is in love with Ivok, who is about to break promises. Ivok struggles with gender dysphoria, and Inuk is caught in a scandal involving social media, sex and betrayal. Behind the scenes is Hmac, the life of the party, who brings a web of manipulations to the crescendo. And each chapter seems to be written for each of the characters, so each part of the book is done that. So I'm excited about this. I'm very, very excited about this. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. And great recommendation. They had some great recommendations on their Women in Translation podcast, but that was the one I was most excited about. Next up is Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden. This was sent to me by the publisher at Vintage. This is being republished in this lovely new front cover. It was originally published in 2000, and it says here, young and confident with a swagger in her step, Sugar arrives in the small southern town of Bigelow with a hope of starting over, but soon Bigelow is alight with gossip and suspicion until Sugar fears she can't hide from her past, until, that is, she meets Pearl, her next door neighbour. Over sweet potato pie, an unlikely, unpredictable friendship begins, transforming both women's lives and the life of an entire town. So yeah, I feel very excited about that. I love this front cover as well. Pink and yellow together. Beautiful. Then I've got 2 children's books that were sent to me. This is the new novella by Michael Morpurgo. This is When Fishes Flew, the story of Eleanor's War. This is very beautiful for a proof, isn't it? Look at it. It's shiny, shiny. And this is told partly in Australia, and we're following Nandi, who is Australian Greek, and she is in conversation with her grandmother Elena, the story of Eleanor's War, and they're talking about Greek myths and mythology and looking into that. And it says the Australian Greek girl Nandi travels to her ancestors' home in Ithaca, so it's set partly in Ithaca as well, and discovers through a friendship with an extremely unusual flying fish the extraordinary story of her great aunt Eleanor, sorry, not her grandmother, of how she fell in love in the hardest of times and how she became an unsung hero of World War II. So as I said, this is a proof copy, but it's going to have illustrations throughout from, I've got the press release here, from George Butler, and this is out on the 30th of September, and it will be coming out in hardback. So yeah, I haven't really read much Michael Morpurgo. I have read Warhorse, and I've read another one which we read for my book club, like my first book club that I started at work. But yeah, I know it's very beloved. My mum was a primary school teacher, and I know often they would read Michael Morpurgo books and study them. So yeah, but this looks beautiful. and it's got a little flying fish on the back. But yeah, 30th of September that's out. Now next up we've got this, which is out. So next up I've got Horror Heights, The Slime. So this is, I believe, is going to be a series. This is a proof copy again. And this is out. When is it out? 30th of September, same day. Pick them up, both same day. And this is, I mean, this screams, and it was sort of like the press release and the email I got about it was very like Goosebumps. And I feel like I used to love reading Goosebumps book when I was younger. Did other people read Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine? Recently, I mean, this makes complete sense. But like, when I was younger, I always just thought that R.L. Stine was one person, but it's not. R.L. Stine is like the name of a, like, so many people wrote those Goosebumps books and then just put them under the name of R.L. Stine, which now, to me, having read quite a lot and sort of just being a bit older and wiser in the world, makes complete sense. But at the time, if you'd have told my mind, you'd have told me, my mind would have just gone, poof. So yeah, so this is a new sort of beginning of a series. This is Horror Heights by Beck Hill, who's a comedian, and this is The Slime. And yeah, let me have a look and see what it's about. But inside, it looks very, very Goosebumps. And when I got emailed about it, I was like, yeah, I'd be into that. But more than anything, David is definitely going to read this at Halloween. He's going to be so into it. Yeah, so very, very exciting. But let's see what it's about. So it says, Horror Heights looks remarkably like where you live. In fact, it might be. After all, it's based on a real place, a place where, on the same weekend, an alarming number of kids in the same class reported seemingly separate, terrifying experiences. Beck Hill has uncovered each of their creepy encounters to see if they're connected and specific to Horror Heights, or wherever such occurrences are more common than we realise. In this one, 11-year-old Connie adds a few extra ingredients to a slime recipe in an attempt to cement her title as Connie, Queen of Slime. Slime's a big thing, isn't it? I don't know anyone around the age of 10 or 11, so I don't know how into slime. Like, I've never seen this slime, but I know, like, didn't loads of kids make like loads of money from making slime and stuff? I believe. But she soon regrets her choice when it results in a terrifying sentient slime monster who threatens to eat her friends and family. Connie must realise her full potential in order to save herself and everyone else from the slime. So yeah, that's out on the 30th of September as well. Then I got sent this beautiful, beautiful Faber edition with also a beautiful, beautiful canvas bag, which are always lovely to have for shopping and things like that. But this is in a colour that this also, I used to work for Marks and Spencer's when I was younger. My work shirt was exactly this colour, but you don't often get bags, book bags, in coloured ones. They're normally the normal sort of canvas colour. Anyway, it's got a quote from Mrs. Caliban by Rachel Ingalls, which is the book I've got here, which I hadn't heard anything of. And then when I read the blurb, I was like, that sounds amazing. So it says here, Dorothy is a grieving housewife in the Californian suburbs, mourning the death of her young son and a recent miscarriage. Her husband is unfaithful, but they are too unhappy to get a divorce. One day, she's doing chores when she hears strange voices on the radio announcing that a green-skinned sea monster has escaped from the Institute for Oceanographic Research, but little does she expect him to arrive in her kitchen. Muscular, vegetarian, sexually magnetic and excellent at housework, Larry the Frogman is a revelation, and their passionate affair takes them on a journey beyond their wildest dreams. It's an amphibious cult classic, a bittersweet fable, a subversive fairy tale, as magical today as it was 4 decades ago. So this is a re-release as well. But like, when I started reading that first paragraph, never did I think that it would lead to a sexy Larry the Frogman, sexually magnetic and vegetarian. So yeah, that sounds like great fun. I'm looking forward to reading that. And next up, I've got the finished copy of Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Now, this is a memoir written by Michelle. Michelle is Korean, and this is a unflinching and powerful memoir about growing up mixed race, Korean food, the loss to cancer of her Korean mother, and learning to forge her own identity. So I was very, very excited to read this when I first heard about it. But recently, I've read Brown Baby by Nikesh Shukla, which is a memoir which has also got sort of like ties to food. And I really feel like, for me, memoirs, I get a lot of memories and stuff from talking about food and eating food that I used to eat when I was younger, and hearing about other people eat food and from when they were younger and stuff. So I feel like this is a really, like, I really enjoy memoirs that are tied up in food, and it will be really interesting to hear about Korean food and things like that. And I also really like this from where she's holding all of this food. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think I'm going to read that next month. And then the last 2 books, niche! So these 2 books, you may well have seen me talk about these on my Instagram account. Now there's background to these. So When I was younger, I'm from a place in England called Kent, which is in the southeast of Kent. And when I was younger, I used to be really into maths, I did my GCSE maths 3 years early. And took it when I was 13 instead of 15 or 16, which is how old you are supposed to take your GCSEs. Not that GCSEs exist anymore, I don't think they do, or maybe they do but the grading's different. Anyway, I was very into maths, and where I lived, they when I was in middle school, there was a campaign called Kent KMP, Kent Maths Projects, and it used to have a box of cards which you would work your way through, and they'd have all different tasks on, and you had a little marker card that you used to put your marker card in, and you used to write what card you'd got and how much percentage you'd got and things like that. And then once you got through all of those boxes 1, 2 and 3, you then moved on to the books, KMP books. This is 4A and this is 5B. I think they went up to 6. Now, previously, me and my colleague talk about KMP all the time. She's also from Kent. My best friend Emma, who's also from Kent, we talk about KMP. And every so often I'd sort of look and find if I could find any KMP books online, because I would just have loved to have done some maths problems and just to sort of like open my brain a little bit. And every time I looked, they were like 60 quid for like one book, and I was like, no way. And I mean, you already know the happy ending to this story. I ended up with 2 KMP books, and I got these from World of Books, and they were like £6 each. So I've trekked myself to 2 KMP books. I've done 3 of these in 4. 4A is the easier of them, 5B is the harder. 5B does look quite hard, and so far in 4A I have done squaring and cubing, so these are all maths questions. I very much enjoyed doing squaring and cubing. Then I did, so it's got the answers in there as well. Then I did decimals practice, which I didn't do as good in decimals practice as I did in squaring and cubing. Then I did reading scales. Now the annoying thing about this is that I didn't realise that these also come with master sheets, which I had fallen out of my brain. So I did have to miss out some of the questions in reading scales because I didn't have my master sheet. And I did quite well in of what I was able to do of reading scales. And then next up we've got 60 degrees, which I need plain paper, compasses, scissor, ruler, and I don't have a compass, so I might have to treat myself to a compass. Remember when you used to go to school and you used to buy like a protractor and a set square and a compass, and you only ever really needed them like once a year? Where can I get a protractor from? I'll have to get one, and a compass. So yeah, these are just 2 books that I've been very much enjoying, and I've been working through them, and it's just nice to put your brain to something. Like, I consider my brain quite active in that I read a lot, and I sort of, my job at work involves a bit of brain power and things like that, but like putting my brain to maths and things like that, it feels like I've really opened my brain up and given my little brain a good little think, like doing a crossword or something, just doing something a little bit different. So yeah, I will continue to do more maths, which I've been very much enjoying. So there we go, those are the books that I've got my mitts on in August. Let me know if you've got yourself any books this month. Let me know if you've read any of these books or looking forward to any of these books. Let me know if you like maths, and I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye.